Hi friends, welcome back to Chronic Asana. Let's talk today about some ideas to make kneeling more accessible. Just about every yoga class that you take is going to kneel at some point, whether it's just going to be a transitionary thing or whether they're going to be postures themselves. And you don't have to live in chronic knee pain to want some aid kneeling. A lot of people live with sensitive knees, and usually you're practicing on a hard floor, so we can always pad it up. You should always be extra good to your knees. First off is your yoga mat. Does your yoga mat have a nice density to it? I don't like to confuse the thickness of the yoga mat to an actual support of it, and sometimes as they get puffier, they're less supportive because they feel less stable. Just a thought. I prefer Manduka mats. I'm not sponsored by them or anything. I just really like how dense they are, and they give me a lot of cushion for not adding a lot of height. And then layering up from your mat, what could you do? You could kneel on a blanket. Just about every studio that you go to should have some blankets available, or if you're practicing at home, you probably have a blanket or a towel. Even a tiny little towel, right? So fitness studios will have tiny little towels. Or somehow, if you didn't, or you just wanted a lot more cushion, don't overlook being able to kneel on a block. As long as it's not like a wooden block, it'll probably feel pretty okay. So cushion to pad the sensitivity of the knees can sometimes solve the issues for you. But what if your issue isn't necessarily that you need the cushion? What if you need the space at the knee joint a little bit more? Because sometimes we'll be seated back on the heels. For this example, I'm just gonna roll my blanket so I can stick it underneath my ankles because my limitation is my ankles and I can't sit all the way back. So if you're coming into some postures from seated kneeling, putting that knee in that full flexion can be pretty intense. So a couple of remedies. My personal favorite, I like to use a block, stick it between my heels, and then sit back on that block. I mostly do it for my ankles, but you could definitely do it for your knees and even your hips. It's just changing that joint angle. On the same idea, I've seen people use just a thin little towel, stick it back behind the knees, wiggle it kind of up into that knee crease, and then sit back. And just having that extra little bit of material puts a little more traction to create that space inside of the joint. And then one more thought, going back to just your mat. Say you didn't have any additional props. You had only your yoga mat. You could roll over the edge of your mat and kneel on that. Did you come in here to say hi? So those are a few of my ideas. What do you do to kneel more comfortably on the floor? If you like these short little how-tos, I have a few more made. Click on the box right here, and you know our slogan, pain's a bitch.